Hello and welcome. This is Playing Favorites. I'm Justin.
I'm Paul. Hello.
Hello there.
How you doing, Justin?
I'm doing good. I have a lot of things to talk about in today's episode that is a little different than what we usually do.
It's a little different, yeah, but I think it's just fun to talk with you on
Because we like to talk.
on camera. We've been talking a lot, just not recording it, and here we are.
Yep. We're trying to get back in the swing of things. We're just still on that hangover from the new year, I guess. It just took a few months, right? But yeah, we have a
Everybody needs a break.
Yeah, we gotta have a different show today, but we'll be getting into that in just a moment. But first off, how have you been? What have you been up to? Just one thing you've done.
It's one thing I've done
Mm-hmm.
In the last. Well, we're getting ready to go on a little vacation, so I've been doing that. Been preparing. Very excited. I really can't remember the last time we actually did like a vacation. I feel like it's been years. Um, so we've done like I'm sure you as well, like little trips here and there with the family, but nothing like we're just gonna go and unwind, which is crazy. But very excited for that.
Cool.
But also very stressful getting ready to to go on vacation.
Well, let's just sit back and relax. Put your feet up. We'll talk about some exciting things. I've made whiskey in a barrel. That's what I did, and I'm drinking that today. But also, I've been playing some Horizon Zero Dawn, which is an amazing game that I've tried 5 times to play it. But
yeah, how's that been? You said you got to Meridian. Things are looking up for you.
Oh yeah, it's great. I think I'm at the final boss thing, like now, because
The final boss.
well, it's like he goes if you go on this mission, you better make sure you have all your errands done and everything before you enter this door. And I'm like, oh.
Okay. That doesn't sound ominous at all.
So
I
been
love
doing
when
that.
they do that when they give you a warning. That's like, are you sure you want to do this? Make sure you have all your equipment.
But we're not
Such
here
a
to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn. We might talk about some video games today. If you're new to us here, Playing Favorites, we've been doing a bunch of really different things recently. Typically, we would find a topic and talk about our favorite things and why we like it so much. But today, we're just going to talk about things that we like and why we like it so much. But normally, if you want to check out all the other stuff we've done, you can go to our YouTube channel. You can find us by searching Playing Favorites Podcast over there. We're on a bunch of different podcast stations, services, Spotify, Apple, all the stuff. Rate us, like us, share with your friends. Have your grandma listen to our lovely conversations.
Send your grandmother our YouTube videos. Yes, please.
Yeah, so
Especially those clips. We've got some really funny clips from the shows over the last couple
you
of
can
years.
find those on our Twitter account. All those clips too.
Yes, that's where they first premiered, and oh my gosh, like some of those times, especially doing some of the let's play stuff more recently.
My favorite one I made was that snake one, the with the snake animation from Donkey Kong. That was a good one.
Oh.
But yeah, go check all that stuff off if you haven't yet. Obviously, hopefully you're on our YouTube channel already. There's a bunch of Let's Plays on here. Been doing some Mega Man X recently. That's been stressful but yet fun. But today we are going to do something a little different. Something we've been wanting to do. We're going to talk about cool stuff that's happening or going to be happening now. So we're doing some our favorite news of the week. I don't know what we're going to call this, right?
The things that interest us, like gaming and movies and television and and other stuff like that, pop culture and entertainment things that we like, we thought it would be really cool to kind of explore what's going on in those worlds and like what's coming and what we're excited for and kinds of, I mean, like a lot of the favorite things that we've talked about on our show coincide with what's happening in the news these days. So we figured, why
not?
Be
honest, Paul. What's been happening is that we want to talk about this stuff, but then we were supposed to record an episode, but we end up just talking about this stuff anyway. So why not just record
and not recording plan? We're like, who wants to do this? Who wants to... We come up with these ideas for shows, and then it's like, but we have something more interesting to talk about, and But hey, it's all good because I'm really excited about what we're talking about today. We're gonna talk some video games. We're gonna talk some movies, but really, I think we're gonna be spending a lot of time talking about some recent television developments.
Yes,
So
yes. Um,
let's get right in.
but I
Let's
want to
talk.
talk
Let's
about, since
talk
I
games.
brought up Horizon, I'm going to take over this thing because you didn't watch it. I'm going to
No,
talk
I
about
didn't.
PlayStation's State of Play that happened
Mm.
yesterday. I've watched it a couple times actually. I always tend to love these events. We did a direct. We did the Nintendo Direct reaction actually a few weeks
Yes,
ago. That's actually the last thing we made.
it
Um,
really was. And these like decentralized E3s, right? This is what it's come down to. Is now like each company just making their own.
yeah,
It's crazy,
I love
but
it
it's
actually because it's
effective.
like getting
Yeah,
news back. You just would get an article, like it was kind of not very well produced, I guess. But Nintendo really started this whole thing with these small little videos of like
direct.
literally just trailers and advertisements. Um, but PlayStation does their state of plays. They did it yesterday. It was about 20 minutes long. The focus was their Japanese developers. That was the main focus of the state of play. I know Paul, you haven't
Really,
watched. Yep, I don't. I know you didn't. And then it had some other developers in there mixed in there
was
too.
the theme of this state of play specifically is like highlighting the work of Japanese developers.
Yep,
Interesting.
yep,
Okay.
yep. I mean, not just their own developers, just anything. Like, honestly, you could have called this like a Square Enix presentation with some other things. To be quite honest,
A lot of familiar names on this list. I
yeah.
got to tell you, a lot of familiar names.
So I was gonna list off the things that were announced, and I can kind of give my little small take on it. If you want to ask some questions on it, that's fine.
Sure.
The first game
Yeah.
was from Capcom. It's called Exo Primal. Honestly, you're watching it, and honestly, a lot of people that were watching this thought it was Dino Crisis. Um, but
Exo Primal, is that the name?
yeah, it's the trailer is actually pretty hilarious. It's like dinosaur weather, and it gives like a weather report for dinosaurs, and literally it just portals open up in the sky and drop millions of dinosaurs in the ground, and the gameplay is just like you killing
Instead of
dinosaurs,
instead of the blood moon, there's just portals.
portals
You
of
know, that's how they
dinosaurs,
respawn.
like literally like
Random weather.
like it
That's
was
pretty
a
funny.
ridiculous looking trailer. If anything, like I don't know why Capcom's not been on a really good track lately. And this just seems like such a random, like I don't know, one of those random PC3 games or PS3 games or 360 games that like you might, or even like games that you might rent back when people used to do that. You know,
Have fun with it.
say it again.
I said, have fun with it, right? Rent it, just
Mm-hmm.
like enjoy it. Like, wow, that's strange.
Just
Like, I just picked this up. Like, I would never have,
yeah,
played this if I hadn't seen it.
yeah, or I guess you could even say like one of those like mindless Newgrounds games back in the day, but with better graphics.
Hey, what are you
Um,
calling mindless?
there was
Those Newgrounds games were great. They're
there
still
was one
great.
on Newgrounds
Pico,
I used to
Pico's
love.
cool.
It was a game where it was a zombie game where you're like your guy in the middle of a room and the zombies came from the side. And you just had to keep shooting them. It was like, but it looked like Zelda, like it was a top-down game.
Oh, really? Oh, no,
So
I don't know that one. Oh,
yeah.
I don't remember it. I
And
was
then,
thinking of reanimating.
um,
Anyways,
then they showed off another trailer for Ghostwire Tokyo. Cool looking game. It's a first-person shooter. They've been showing this off for a while. It's made by
I've seen some.
Bethesda.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
but
Seen
one
some
of
artwork for it. It's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, one of the it's probably the it's a PlayStation exclusive, but this happened before the Microsoft Bethesda deal, so it's gonna
Yeah.
be timed.
So
Eventually, it'll go to
purely.
Xbox.
Oh, okay.
But it looks
Interesting.
cool. I know I think your part of you is just like oddly excited about this game, Stranger of a Paradise, Final Fantasy
Yeah,
Origin.
it
Will
seems
you
like a
will you
better.
actually play this, Paul?
No, but I'll watch you play it. I just want to read the dialogue. I don't care about playing this game at all.
Well, if
I
you
just want to.
did,
I just want to know what happens in this wacky story.
a free demo came out. That's what they
Oh,
announced. Another one, so we could play it for
yeah. The
free.
first one came out what, like 2 months ago?
Yeah, I think November,
Oh, long
probably. It was a while. It was a while ago.
November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's another demo out for that. So go check that out. Then another trailer for this game called Forspoken. This game is honestly got my interest, and I think it's going to be sort of a surprise hit.
It looks weird,
It it
doesn't it?
This last trailer looked amazing though. Like I'd check the trailer out.
Okay.
It was initially kind of like I was like that's kind of odd. But it was sort of like the story was interesting a little bit to me, but like there's just something off with the presentation. But this last trailer, I mean, they did a really good job making this trailer though. It was like a really put like with the music and the way it would cut and how it matched. It was just a really well put together trailer, but the effects and like just the combat look really really cool. I just
Have you seen the creatures?
For Forspoken?
Yeah, for the like, have you seen some of the artwork, some of the creatures? Because that's the why I think it looks. I mean, it's weird in a good way. Like, it's almost getting like Shadows of the Colossus kind of vibes from.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they kind of look weird. They just look like fantasy creatures to me. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, just cool and different versions. I don't know. It looks interesting.
But this is probably one of the cooler parts of the state of play was the Forspoken trailer because the music just really really good with it and visuals were freaking phenomenal. So that was shown. A Gundam game was shown.
Please contain your excitement for the Gundam game.
It's free to play. This is cool though. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Cowabunga collection. I want to dive into that and just kind of say what games are in this collection, but from Konami.
Yeah.
So I want to have a list right here. Trying to find a good list for you.
Really excited to see.
I know there's like a ton of games on this list, and where is this it instead of? I know it has like Turtles in Time. Okay, so the 8-bit TMT2, the arcade game, Team 3, the Manhattan Project, 16-bit TMT4, Turtles in Time. I know the NES games on here, like Hyperstone Heist is on here. TMT3 Radical Rescue's on here. It's like it's a ton of project. Some fighter one is on here. But yeah, it's a ton of. It's like 13 Ninja Turtle games that are going to be in this collection. Yep. That was shown.
Did you play two? Did you play the second one for the NES?
Was the second one just the arcade game?
Yeah, it was very similar to the arcade game. I think there's some changes in it. Yeah, it was basically the arcade game.
I played that one.
Switched crazy first games. I want somebody to remake that version of the game, but make it like more intuitive and not as hard. Like it's an interesting idea. Now, like the more I think about it, but
I own the first one. Yeah, I own the first game. I used to play that like all the time, even though it's like so hard and so weirdly made. But I've never gotten
turtle itch right away. It was like you had to earn it.
Yeah, I never got past the dam. I think I did it one time, or I watched someone do it. That's all I remember. But anyways,
when does Shredder's Revenge come out?
Do they have a date for that?
I hope it's been announced, and I hope it's soon.
I know recently they're adding Splinter to it.
I saw that little Splinter trailer. I believe you sent it to me.
Yeah, I tend to send you a lot of things.
You do. You like other than IGN. You are my source of news for a lot of gaming stuff.
That's why we're having this show. It doesn't look like they have a specific date. It just says this year.
Cool. I'm fine with that.
I hope it comes out. It's on my fantasy league. For the video game fantasy league I do. I've told you about that, right? The fantasy league for Medicare. Okay, I won't go further. After that, game called Gigabash, which it looked like this game. I don't know if you remember these games that were on like the Neo Geo, like King of Monsters.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, that's what Gigabash looks like. That pretty much.
Okay.
It's 4-player monster destruction game, same perspective, everything.
Cool.
A fighting game for the anime JoJo Bizarre Adventure.
Hmm.
This game, honestly, if you haven't looked at this yet, Paul, I feel like you need to. It's called Trek to Yomi.
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
No, no, I've heard the name, and yeah, somebody said somebody had mentioned Ghost of Tsushima, and then they said, "Well, have you heard about Trek to Yomi?" And that's all I've heard about it. Wow,
You see
that
it?
looks
Are you
really
looking at pictures
cool.
of it?
Yes, yes, I
So
am.
it's like
That
a
is beautiful.
side-scrolling samurai game, but all black and white. It's like looks freaking amazing.
Oh,
Hmm.
that's all I want.
And the trailer's cool. So
I
if you get a
really
minute
want.
to watch that trailer, it's like neat because it's like a trailer for a movie, and they even at the end they like list all the actors' names like that like a trailer for like
Like,
that kind of movie.
yeah.
It's kind of cool. But that game, I've seen that game before. They actually announced it at E3 last year, or like the one of the conferences at E3.
Mm.
Um, so after that, we had an update for Turtle, a co-op for that game, and another add-on. Like a mode. It's called Ascension. It's got like a survival mode. I have that game. Haven't beat it yet. It's hard, but the co-op thing sounds
Sounds like-
fun. I just don't know who I would play with. I don't know anyone that has it. Um,
hmm.
and then Square Enix just showcase like some random games. This game called the Diofield Chronicle. I was watching the trailer for this. I was like getting kind of excited. I was like, "Oh, is this Final Fantasy Tactics?" Like I was like,
Oh, yes, yes, I saw that. Yes, it looked so much like Tactics.
"It's like why not just
Okay,
call this Tactics? You could have just called this Final
right?
Fantasy Tactics." And like I really
When
like
it was a completely different game, I was honestly stunned that it was not Final Fantasy. Yeah, unbelievable. Like, who is making this? Like,
yeah,
like
it was Square
just
Enix
call it
too.
that.
It's
Punch it
made
where yeah, like no, we don't want to associate it with Final
no,
Fantasy.
no, too much Final
You literally
Fantasy.
made this game before.
Too much. And then Valkyrie Elysium looked like just another Japanese like kind of hack and slash kind of action game. I guess this is a sequel.
Bayonetta.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I guess. I mean, not so action, not like Devil May Cry actiony, but like it's supposedly this is a
Or, yep.
sequel to this game that came out called Valkyrie Profile. It was like on
Oh,
PS2, PSP, stuff like that. So sort of a weird sequel to that, but it was fun. I wouldn't say anything mind blowing. I thought some of the trailers looked cool, but that did happen yesterday. So I don't know anything
Trek
there.
to Yomi, man, that looks amazing.
Tokiyoni. That's something really new. I don't even know. I feel like it was just another trailer. I don't even know if it was any new information. It just they're showing more stuff from it, and it
And
just looks so good.
I've been dying to want to like get into Ghost of Tsushima too. Like, I've been really wanting to just get that game, but I feel it's like an Assassin's Creed style of game where I
Mm-hmm.
need to be devoting a lot of time of it. I don't have that time right now.
Yeah.
Uh, Maybe soon, maybe in a little while, but
Hmm. Well, you did.
I really want to.
You did just go through Spider Man. I mean, it's
Yep.
kind of like
And I
that,
jumped
right?
right into Miles Morales right after it because I enjoyed playing it so much. I couldn't stop. But now I'm at this point where I'm like, okay, I need a little break.
Got it.
And I've been playing Breath of the Wild again, of all things. I'm like doing all the shrine quests, collecting all the hearts.
Well, you just wait till
Anyways,
the news article when they give the release date for the Breath of the Wild 2. Then you're just gonna play Breath of the Wild the rest of life, forever.
yep. Thank you. That's all I want. So I had an idea of what I think the sequel might be. Since we're on the subject of video games,
Sure.
we'll wrap this state of play up in just a moment. But since we're talking about sequels and announcements, I had an idea that I thought I would share it with you. Since all the shrines in Breath of the Wild, the original one, are popping out of the ground, when you find them, like a lot of these shrine quests or hidden ones, that's the underground. Like, they're connected to larger things underground. That's where
Mm.
Ganon is. That's where, like, that's how they'll keep the shrine thing going, or maybe new shrines will come up, is because there is like a civilization
So
underground that
do
was.
you think the gameplay is that you're going back to these shrines and then using them as an elevator? Or like is it gonna just like bring you back?
Oh, Maybe. That's
I'm
interesting.
just
That could
making
be
a
one way
joke.
to do it. That could be one way to annoy the hell out of people.
It's
Yeah.
like, well,
Yeah, I can
you know
see
those
that.
shrines you found?
I can see
Well,
them
you
do
gotta
that.
find them again, and you have to solve the puzzle again to use them as an elevator.
Oh, it solved the puzzle again?
Yes,
Like,
but reversed.
or listen, you'll never be able to unlock the the rest of the game until you get them all in the first game. It like won't let you. It'll let you start the game
Oh,
like the
you have
first
to carry
15 minutes,
your save data over.
and then it'll stop you. Yep. It's gonna be
So if you don't
you're
find all the
playing.
memories, do you like have like an amnesia when you start the second
You
game?
don't recognize Zelda. You accidentally kill her.
Who are you?
Jesus, it's like injustice for Zelda. We're describing
That
now.
sucks because I don't have my original save file. I never finished the game in the Switch, so I don't. Yeah,
It's okay. It's a good thing it's make believe. I think you're all right.
okay, all right. Well,
But you're gonna dive right into that as soon as it comes out. I bet
um,
you'd push everything.
well, I know you didn't watch this, but is there anything in PlayStation? I just want to ask you a question. Is there a PlayStation stuff that you wish was on? You wish they would show a little sooner, or what are you waiting to see?
Well, I was hoping for if this was a state of play, I was hoping for maybe like something about God of War. Maybe please, like a little
So last year we did the reaction.
another
They
image,
did
another Fat
they
Thor.
they did a standalone state of play for Horizon. What in the summertime last year? Remember?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
obviously we did
Forbidden
it together.
West.
So that's I think they're going to do the same for God of War. We're going to get like a 20-minute
Okay.
God of War.
Featurette.
Yeah, I think so. But
Excellent.
they when they do these things, they say
I hope-
our Japanese developers, which God of War is not. Um, it could have showed up. I was hoping we'd get Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
That's what I was kind of hoping for,
Oh.
or maybe
It's surprising that one of these is a real Final Fantasy game.
well, I don't know.
Not to hate on Stranger of Paradise, but
As close as you're gonna get, I guess.
that's as close to being associated with Final Fantasy as you're going to get. It's in your title.
So, well, speaking of games that are coming later this year, they're playing on PlayStation. This guy's is a quickie announcement. They just announced the release date for Gotham Knights, which I know both of us are kind of excited for.
That's right. October 25th of this year.
Yeah, I
Co-op
think it's a good date. They got the kind of the scary sort of vibe for Halloween, I guess.
Halloween. Yep. The week of Halloween.
I just found this out though. I don't remember reading this, but I guess this is only 2-player co-op.
Yeah, that's what I understood it to be. Was that it was like partner co-op.
Well, see, like I just got. I guess I
all.
assumed it was 4-player because you could pick from 4. So like, there's 4 people that are in the game. Like you can pick from either 4 of them, but you only can play 2 players. So
maybe that'll be something that gets added on later on.
I mean, I like that it's only 2 players personally, because otherwise, if it's just 4, it's just the Avengers game, which is
I think this is like specifically why. I mean, this works as a Batman style game because if you remember, I think it was Arkham City and then Arkham Knight where they introduced the fighting in a pair, fighting with Catwoman or fighting with Robin, where you can switch between them. And I think it works really well for a Batman style game or a Gotham DC style game to be like on a smaller scale like that. Just keep adding.
Yeah, if you start adding 4 people, then you have to have like armies coming at you, right, to make it like.
Yep, and think of it this way: like the characters will all interact differently. Like Batgirl and Nightwing will have like this really different rapport than, say, Robin and Red Hood or Robin and Batgirl. So they'll also be like different move sets, I'm sure, and they'll all have like their own like kind of specialized skill. I'm very excited for this game. I think it's going to be great.
So when are you going to get it, Paul?
I'm going to get it October 25th.
Are you really? You're going to get a day 1 game?
I did it for Arkham Knight.
No. You got
for
that later.
Arkham City. For Arkham City, I got
the last game I think you might have gotten day 1. What was Battlefront 2?
Yes. And boy, do Still play that all the time.
I think we got a good amount of time out of that game though. I think about going
Oh,
back to
sure.
this. I think about going back to that sometimes, but it's just too much stuff to do in
It
life.
feels very tedious to get like to good stuff in that game. I would rather just start a new game in Fallen Order than
Yeah.
than play that.
Yeah, we'll talk
But
about that later
okay.
maybe.
Yeah, so really exciting DC news in terms of their games. But we've also got some news in terms of DC movies.
hmm
Um, so you heard about their what's it off of the Batman, the success of Colin Farrell's portrayal of the Penguin in the Batman movie out now.
Yes.
They are spinning it off to an HBO Max show, and it's going to be Penguin based. It's going to be all Colin Farrell all the time.
And
And
neither of
you
us have
got like
seen this the Batman yet, right? You haven't seen it yet, right?
correct.
Okay.
Yep, not yet.
I think it's cool,
Want to? Don't
interesting.
know how, but want to. hmm
Um,
I'm interested in seeing how they're portraying it because what it sounds like it's not the origin story, but it's more he's like in the downward spiral of trying to be a vigilante and
mhm.
like he's clashing with Alfred. Like it's a cool point in his life that not many uh not many movies have touched on really. So it's gonna be really interesting.
When
I'm
does this
excited
say?
to
I'm
watch
looking
it.
at the IGN article, and I like the first sentence. It says the penguin is waddling back onto the small screen, which I thought was kind of funny.
Like they knew they were gonna make that joke, so it's like let's just get it over with front and center. Use it as the first line.
I'm trying
So
to
yep.
think. I'm looking. I didn't have a chance to really read into this, but like, does this take? I'm assuming place after the movie.
Yes. It's
Okay.
supposedly after the movie to thoroughly explore the inner life of the character, as they said, and I think yeah, it's going to be like watching a mob boss, rise to power. It's going to be I don't know if they're like not necessarily like Sopranos style, but you're going to see like Penguin in the Gotham underground like slowly take over,
Yeah, it says in
like try to
this
get
the article I'm reading
more
on
influence.
IGN. This is what Farrell says: the world that Matt Reeves created for the Batman is one that warrants a deeper gaze through the eyes of
Mhm.
Oswald Cobblepot.
Yep.
Couldn't be more excited about continuing the exploration of Oz as he rises through the darkened ranks to become the Penguin. Will be good.
hmm
Be good to get him back on the streets of Gotham for a little madness and a little mayhem. It's actually funny because like, the Gotham Knight trailer has a good representation of the Penguin too, like the old one that we watched.
Yes, and you have to credit the games with modernizing the Penguin's character
Mm.
because before then there wasn't anything since Danny DeVito and the animated series, like the nothing that really like wanted to touch the Penguin. And they in the game, what was it? It was the first one in Arkham Asylum.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, you see him for the first time in Arkham City. Him and Two Face you don't see until the
Oh,
second
that's
one,
right. Yes, I do now remember.
and they're both it's how they should be portrayed as kind of like mob bosses, not just like over the top, like Jim Carrey style Riddler, more like these guys are just they have a nickname because they look funny, but they're ruthless mob bosses.
Yeah, I've actually
So
always liked
uh,
the animated version of the Penguin too. The
because he's classy, right,
yeah.
with his little cigarette holder and
Well, isn't there like there was a one episode with the
very
animated series where he was
sophisticated.
like trying to like live a good life, like he was like changing his
You're right. He
tune,
was,
right?
yeah, and like, yep, and the penguins were like involved. They would like shake their heads or nod their heads or something,
I
like to
forgot
bounce ideas off. Yes, I
he could
do.
command penguins in the show.
Yep,
I forgot
they were like his sidekicks.
about that. But I mean, I might be interested in watching this. I've been liking this whole connection of movies to then spin off to television show.
Yeah,
I
good
mean,
way to keep people interested.
and how fast it's happening too, right? I mean, like,
Yeah, like this was clearly planned. Like like the announcement was just waiting. to happen like after the movie's been out for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So no, I think that this is their model now. Like this is what's going to differentiate them from like big tentpole Marvel movies and like a bunch of shows that nobody cares about. Not to diss them, but like there's some good shows and there were some not so good shows, but they're going to try and keep it simple. Like good movie, one show, limited series. They didn't even say like how many episodes it's going to be. So
Hmm.
it's not like it's going to be seasons and seasons of the Penguin. It's just a one-shot deal.
Which I don't think is a bad idea. I mean, especially for comic books. I mean,
No,
that's kind of like the
no,
best way you could do it. And then
it's not
that
a bad idea at all.
character could then show up in another show, right? You could make kind of like what I guess
Yep.
Star Wars is doing, where they're making these
Let's say
kind
they,
of
let's say they spun off a Riddler thing or a Two Face or something in this same world, and then you can have the Penguin intrude upon it. And it sounds like you can have the Batman show up too.
yeah.
So that'll be cool. It's not like it's impossible to do that. Whereas like, for a long time in movies, it seemed like you couldn't cross franchises or have one star come over and cameo in a movie. It would be too much, and then
No, now it's.
that's no longer the case.
I mean, hey, like Infinity War opened up a whole box of just crossover stuff, right? I mean, we're getting
Yep.
Patrick Stewart in a Marvel movie soon here with
Yeah,
Doctor
why not?
Strange. It's kind of crazy.
It is.
Have you watched
It is.
Have you watched PC? You have probably haven't watched Peacekeeper yet, right?
No, no. To tell you the truth, I just speaking of Jean Luc, I've been watching the first season of Picard. Uh, giving it a try to watch the second season, which just recently came out.
Hmm.
And I'm 3 episodes in, and it's not bad.
I've heard good things about it.
It's not like stupendous, but there are some really really cool moments in it, and I like the story so far. I'm interested.
Doesn't the second season
There's
have like the Borg lady? Didn't she come back?
um oh, 7 of 9, yes. Yes. I thought she's in the first season.
I don't know. I just
She's in
saw
the
a
first
trailer
season.
for the second season the other day, and I didn't know if she was
Yeah.
in the first or second season. I just like, oh, I that's
That's
the
like one of Kristen's favorite characters too, 7 of 9. And she was what made Voyager worth watching, according to Kristen, because I couldn't finish Voyager. It was too hard to get through. Too boring. It really was. Even the worst DS9 episodes, like the alternative verse
Now,
episodes.
what would you do if you had a show called Cisco?
Oh, what would I do? I'd faint. I've never fainted before in my life, but I would faint from joy. I would do the just fall over.
But it wasn't Cisco from D Space Nine. It was the musician that made that song.
Oh. But it wasn't Cisco the musician. It was Cisco the restaurant supply company. Oh.
And
Yes, I loved
that's as
all
far as that
Cisco.
joke can go. We can't. Nothing else. We've
Let it
exhausted it.
I love either one of those. I would be okay with a Cisco limited series about the Thong song and his life story. I would love it. I would watch it. But I would
Maybe
also
they're
take a
on the same
Benjamin
show together,
character.
working for Cisco. That could be what happens. It's
I
Cisco.
take it back. I don't want a Benjamin Sisko show. I just want a show, a reality show, a real one where they just film Avery Brooks and just let him talk. Let him just be his crazy self. Uh, just literally follow him. That's it. That's the show I want.
Okay.
Well, Justin,
We'll make it
do you
happen.
want to? Shall we keep going now? I mean, in the same vein, talking about Warner Brothers and DC. We've got some not so great news, I guess. I mean, if you've been anticipating some of these movies, but they've shifted some dates back. So, um, yep, a slew of delays for multiple films announced today. Aquaman 2, The Flash, Black Adam with The Rock. So all of those have been, as well as DC League of Super Pets. I know you were very, we're looking forward
Hey,
to
it's
that
Kevin
one.
Hart and The Rock in a movie. I have no interest in that whatsoever.
Or
Yeah, I mean
so,
that's honestly delays are inevitable, I
part of the business.
guess nowadays.
Yeah, they are part of the business now. That's just like you can announce something and then you can take your sweet time and you can announce a delay and people will say, "Yeah, yeah, I understand." But I'm sure if they're
Movie
warned,
delays are a little bit less likely. I wonder if they're just trying to push it back a little bit more so they can get that theater, because obviously Spider-Man was amazing in theaters, but like that's like a fluke. I feel I think Batman did okay too, but like other
yeah,
than that, like that's all people are going to movie theaters for. I feel like it's just watching superhero movies. Like
yeah, there's really no good other movies coming out right now. A lot of the talent has shifted to, comic book movies. It's crazy. So a lot of the talented directors and writers are like, okay, well, that's where the money is, so we'll go that way.
we got Dune.
Um,
We had Dune. That's all I've seen is Dune in theaters.
yeah, really. Um, it was Dune, and before that was Star Wars movie.
Hmm.
So, yep, it's just for big cinema now. I mean, it has to be a really rare, like really, really, really good movie to get people's attention now. Like, did you see trailers for The Lighthouse from last year
I've heard of that
with
movie. I don't. I
Robert
haven't seen the
Pattinson
trailers. I haven't seen the trailers
and
for it
Willem
though.
Dafoe?
No, I haven't seen
Looks
the trailers.
amazing. Looks amazing. I really wanted to watch it, and I heard it was pretty good. Um, but just something like that, and it seems like A24 is like the only studio for sort of artsy, different kinds of filmmaking
But
nowadays.
see, it's
At
tough
least
because
the
like I sit there and
genre
say I might watch a movie
wide.
like that by A24,
Mhm.
or like movies like that other one that's supposed to be really good, like the Last Duel. I think it's supposed to be really good with
I heard it was okay.
Adam
Yeah,
Driver, right?
with
But like,
Trevor and
it's
Matt.
never a movie I want
Damon.
to go to the theater for. Like if I'm gonna
Yeah,
watch
it's like
it,
I saw that too, and that was exactly the same take. I was like, who is going to watch that? Like, I'm sure it would be. I'm sure it's a fine movie. Like, but who is going to theaters to see that movie?
and that's what you need to start doing to get people to go theater. Like I think people have been ingrained to say, well, if I'm going to go get a theater experience, I want like explosions. I want to have like something that's going to wow me in this big
Bayhem.
screen. And I think Dune did such a good job at marketing that experience to me, anyways. I don't know. Like I think Dune did really well considering the pandemic kind of
Yeah,
ending,
I
but like
agree.
it like made me like I need to see this in theaters. Like I need to see this movie in theaters. Like that's what people were constantly saying. Like even people that had like sat at home, like this would have been better in theaters. Like even though it was
Yeah.
free on HBO, right? Like you got to have a movie like that to be able to push people into a theater seat. And movies like The Last Duel, or even movies like The Lighthouse, or whatever, I don't think is going to bet people to go to a theater.
No, and you know what? I feel like there should be a different type of theater. Like you should have like just the blockbuster theater, and then you should have like the little art theater that shows just those kinds of movies. Like if I like I don't know, it's like a terrible business model because nobody it's like catering to such a small group of
And
people.
make a
But
restaurant. You got to do those dine-in theaters to make it an experience,
you
right?
know, maybe if they did that and they just did like art housey movies
Hmm.
and food and beverages, maybe that could
I'm
be a little
thinking
bit
of
more
like
sustainable.
a theater that's like the suites that are like a hockey arena or a sporting event. So you have your own little
Yes.
room, but you're all
Hmm.
watching the big theater's big screen, but you have your
Yeah.
own little rented room.
Social distance. You can have like a server person
They'd
that
be bankrupt in a
you're.
week.
I mean, it's really the Alamo Draft House, but just the movies that are being shown are not terribly popular. So then it has to be like gourmet food or something, or like a kind of food you can't get anywhere else.
You have to have the actors
Molecular
there.
gastronomy.
You have to be able to sit with the actors and eat with them. That'll make it
Oh,
work.
that's
That'll
or
make it work.
anybody that worked on the movie, like the gaffer. the best boy.
Sure, maybe the caterer was there. Maybe he caters the food. He or she, right? This.
Eat what the stars ate while they made this movie: tuna salad, rye.
I'm
Their
just
job.
I'm just picturing you sitting in the cafeteria, Blazing Saddles now, like the
Tuna salad, Yankee hot roast.
Anyways.
Yeah. Besides those DC movies, though, I'd also like to let you down gently that the Timothy Chalamet Wonka prequel movie has also been delayed until 2023.
Oh, okay.
So I know, as another Wonka head like myself, it's a hard pill to
I
swallow.
didn't know this movie was a thing, so news to me.
It's a thing, all right. It sure is.
All I know is Star Wars movies keep getting delayed, and they keep changing what they are. That's all.
Justin, it sounds like they're confused as to what to do with the movies.
Hey, we're making this Rogue One movie. Oh, that sounds awesome. That sounds really cool. That sounds like a good idea. I like starships and X-wings and stuff like that. Oh no, we don't like the director anymore. She's too busy. So we're going to make an Old Republic movie. Oh, hey, what about that Rian Johnson trilogy? Oh, we don't know. We'll let you know.
No, they don't want to cancel anything, but a lot of these are hard nosed at this point. Rian Johnson is not coming back to do anything with Star Wars. I'm sorry. In a lot of ways,
very good for all parties.
It's just it was just a terrible.
Keep making Knives Out movies. I like Knives Out. That was a good movie.
Yeah,
Knives Out was great.
But I mean, like, Disney's choice to give this like relatively unknown dude like full reign of a Star Wars movie, and he like. In retrospect, it's like I wish I was saying this at the time. Like, why not just give it to Dave Filoni? Like, just give it to the person that give it to Favreau and Filoni.
I sit there and I wonder, like, I theorize something. Like when I think of George Lucas and the man that he is, coming up from, being like a, he wanted to be like a carpenter or something like that, and went to film school and, started off as like an independent developer and like, I wonder if he had like in like the independent filmmaker, sorry. And then I wonder if like in like his like in like when he sold it to Disney, it's like if you make movies, you got to make sure that these directors have all the rights to how the movie is created.
Oh, do you think that was a stipulation in his contract?
Like that's why they
I think there was a stipulation early on that he was going to have like creative, input on the movies, and something happened to that part of the deal in the end.
Well, he gave the scripts for his version of, I think, episode 7, 8, 9, and which I guess has something to do with Darth Maul or something like that. I'm not sure.
No, he had Darth Maul coming back. Yep, part of it was.
But we'll never know.
So
and I'm at this point where it's like I'm just happy with whatever we get. I like Last Jedi after a little while. I like Rise of Skywalker, and I like what's been happening on Disney Plus and what is going to be happening on Disney Plus.
Return of a Jedi.
What are you talking about? You're talking about Obi Wan? Is he returning?
Return of a Jedi.
Of a Jedi?
Not the Jedi.
Okay,
yes,
of a Jedi.
That's what the Entertainment Weekly thing says. Why don't
does it say that? I don't.
Yeah, right above the words Obi Wan Kenobi, it says "Return of a Jedi."
I didn't have the article up. So that's our last. That's our last news article. Kind of great timing, honestly. We were like, we're gonna do a news show, and then they released the trailer for Obi Wan Kenobi, probably the most anticipated. I would say the most anticipated Disney Plus show.
Yeah, this is gonna make gangbusters for them. Way more than even The Mandalorian. Like it's gonna be pretty big. It's gonna be pretty cool. And I don't know. I just seeing. So it was like the magazine cover and the images drop, and people are seeing them, and then within moments the trailer drops, and this kind of like coordinated uh, media has got us all excited. It's crazy too. I mean, what's in the trailer is crazy,
They
unbelievable.
show so much, but yet I mean, they show nothing at the same time. You know, it's like,
Of course, of
yeah,
course.
it
Well, we
is.
see a lot of characters. This is what we get. We get a lot of who's in the movie.
I'm just like I knew a lot of these things were going to be in the movie. Like I had heard that he was leaving Tatooine. I'd heard the Inquisitors were going to be a part of the story, but like
Hmm.
seeing them in like that's the Grand Inquisitor from Rebels that's in that trailer.
Yep,
I
yep.
have to say,
Bald
like it
dude.
was. At first I wasn't sure because he had such a bigger head than the animated version of him. It just didn't like. I don't know, it was like throwing me off a little bit.
Oh, really? Oh no, I was like, well, I mean, his voice too. Um, I, seeing her armor and seeing like, oh, okay, so Inquisitors are in this. That's cool. And then seeing that dude, I was like, oh my god, he's like, there he is in the flesh. Okay, really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, and like in
And
the one, there's another Inquisitor that has like the little like I don't know, I don't know what you want to call it, the cylinder like sombrero hat kind of. He's like a
yes, he's like the fourth brother or something. I
he's
remember,
in
yeah,
Rebels as
sixth
well.
brother. Yeah,
But yeah, like just seeing that, like Dave Filoni supposedly doesn't have as much of an input on this show. Like he's not like as connected to Jon Favreau because this is directed by Deborah Chow, who I think did episode 3 and 7 of Mandalorian. Um,
okay.
um, but she's the one that's running this whole show. What I'm gonna love it won't be like it's definitely not going to be this episodic um kind of like Mandalorian type show where it's like, okay, we're gonna go to this planet, we're gonna go to this planet, we're gonna go to this planet. It's gonna be like a long movie.
Yeah,
That's what I'm gathering.
I think so too. This is not. It's a limited series, but it's just like it's going to be like a 4 hour movie.
Yeah. But yeah, there's just so much stuff that I could go on. Like Owen Lars being in there, like looking like perfect, like
Looking just like young Uncle Owen,
oh my
like
god,
all
like
curmudgeon,
and it's the same actor from the prequels, which I'm like, how did you do that? Like, what were you? How did you connect those two? I mean, oh man.
aged into the role.
But it was what's even weird. Like when I'm looking at it, I'm like, he kind of looks like Klieglar's too. Like, like he's,
Oh, but well,
you know what I
this
mean?
is
Like
that.
he has the expression of his father. Like he has an expression that his father
So he
had.
really did. He really did his acting homework and studied um, Uncle Owen, the actor who portrayed him. I'm sure,
I
and Klieg, I'm sure. So he's got like this. No, and that's what they're saying. They said thank you George for casting Joel Edgerton as Uncle Owen. That's all I can say
yeah.
from the director there, Deborah Chow. So he must have really like brought it. It seems like this is more of a movie type of thing. So it seems like they're really like everything is ramped up. The acting is ramped up. The production value is amped up. It's going to be really cool. Like we've known about this for a while. It was rumored for a while, and then like
And they don't
we
even
knew it
show
was
Hayden.
happening.
They don't even show Hayden in this trailer. You
Nope,
get
they
the
don't need to.
breathing
They
right
don't need to. There's
there
already
was
enough crazy stuff.
later in the day. I didn't send you this. There was a shot, one image of Vader, but just Vader like a silhouette in like a room, is like a little cryo room.
I thought, okay, yeah, just like a silhouette. Yeah,
But it supposedly was Hayden in the suit. That's what they were saying for the picture.
okay.
But in the trailer, it's like Ewan McGregor, he is Obi Wan. Like I mean, he just does it so well. And I when I found the cover art for this too, like the one that's for entertainment, I'm like, how do
Yep.
they blend episode 2 Obi Wan and episode 3 Obi Wan and make it look good?
So he's episode 3 Obi Wan in that he had like the facial hair was figured out and the hairstyle was figured out,
Mm-hmm.
and this is him like reverting back to
The mullet
like
type thing.
his hair is grown out though, but it's grown out more evenly because he was getting a haircut, like a good haircut, not his mullet anymore.
Yeah.
Like maybe he was getting that cut at the temple, and the Jedi barber was not very good, cutting it with a lightsaber.
Yes. Oh man, like I oh man, I just
It's much more
so wait,
style.
we
They
got
did
Sith Inquisitors.
better
He's
with the
going
hair.
to some sort of like I think somebody I watched another podcast. They call it he's like a Blade Runner planet. Like it's like kind of like that
Seedy
neon.
underbelly of yeah.
Um, you got
No, they said it was like Asian, like Hong Kong. That's
okay,
right.
okay, that's good. I think it's a new planet too. I think I read it in here like Dio something. Oh, I can't remember the name of it.
I'm sure we'll hear all of that.
Dad 27. I don't know. There is this one funny picture on this like entertainment website. If you go check the pictures, where it's just like Ewan McGregor, he's like standing near a wall, just like holding it. I'm like,
It's like peeking around the corner. Yes, I know exactly. Mhm.
it's such a
Like
just
bad hide and seek.
this is
Like
such a funny
you know,
picture. But
like gently entering the room.
so my
Walking
question.
into
This
it.
is supposedly what 10 years. I think 10 years before episode 4.
New Hope.
Yeah,
Mm,
because I mean Luke looks about to be 8 in that video, right? In the trailer. Luke's about 19 or
yeah,
18 in episode 4. So that means it's roughly 5 years after Fallen Order. Could we potentially see Cal Kestis in this movie, in this show?
that would be very interesting.
They could cast the same
And
actor.
they could. They could easily do that. He could be the voice and likeness in the game, and then the real world actor. And that means we could get Seer too. Maybe this was planned out. Maybe
I
this was
mean, they're
planned
bringing
from
in the tower from Fallen
using
Order. Like you're literally the final like level of the game.
yes, the Inquisitorium, whatever the
The
Sanctum Inquisitorium.
it's just I thought it was just Inquisitor's Fortress, or is it? I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, it had like a fancy name.
I don't remember. It's been a while. All I know is I spent a long time in that tower.
Yes, we all did. Really, such a cool game. Funny that it's come up twice now. Um, and this is, I'm if that's the case, then we could see some of the other Inquisitors. Besides, I mean, if they showed the Grand Inquisitor, I wonder who else would be um,
Well, it's
into
tough.
that or.
It's tough because it's like we only have 6 episodes, 45 minutes each.
They're really only 6. Man.
I mean, so how many random cameos can you fit in that? Like without, supposedly the rumor is, I mean, I'm not trying to, this is what I just heard, is that they're going to have 2 fights, Hayden and him. Like he's going to fight Vader once and then can fight him again. Which is such a weird thing, because I always like, the way it's like episode 1 ends, it's like, or episode 3 ends, it's like, I always thought like, okay, when we get to episode 4, they just haven't seen each other at all, in
Yes,
between. But
exactly.
then I sit there and think about it. It's like, okay, well, makes sense. Like last time we met, I was but the learner, but now I'm the master. When he says that phrase, but then he also says to Tarkin when he talks to him, it's like we thought that Obi Wan was dead, but at the end of episode 3, they didn't know he was dead. He won.
They assumed he was dead because he fell into the water, and that was the
No, but
last he
Hayden
was.
fought him.
Oh, that's true. That's
Anakin
true.
fought him, right?
They
He
know,
he
yeah, they know
lost.
he's alive.
So it's
Yes.
like this is gonna have to show him supposedly dying in their eyes, right? But how he like, I'm just so intrigued about how he like is on Tatooine, and somehow the Inquisitors see to find him on Tatooine, but then he runs away, I guess, to get them away from Luke. I'm assuming to then
Yeah.
eventually come back to Tatooine. Like I'm wondering how that journey happens. It's like,
Do you think
right?
it has anything to do with him turning so very much older and white haired?
He goes through a
Do you think like
transformation.
he'll force lightning himself and get old?
He does the hologram technique that Luke does in Last Jedi, which makes him drain his life energy and age
Ah.
himself.
Oh, that might not be a terrible idea. That
That's
might
what
be
he's
something
doing.
that he
He's
would try.
actually on
He would
Tatooine
force
the
project,
whole time. He's on Tatooine
and
the
he's
whole
force
time.
projecting himself someplace really far, and it's draining his life away very, very slowly. And
Yeah,
and
yeah. And then he's actually fighting
then
Vader
Vader
as a voice
kills that.
instruction. Yep. There
Yep.
you go. We got it. Figured it out.
And Vader's the only one that's like, that felt weird. That didn't seem right. And everybody else is like, yay, he did it. Very interesting. I wouldn't put it past them because remember, you've said it before that the shows work to fix the movies.
Dave Filoni's a master at it, and if Inquisitors are in this, Dave Filoni's got to have some sort of input here. I mean, come on,
Of course,
right.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure that whoever wrote this and was with like Favreau and Deborah Chow, and I'm sure they themselves are familiar with the material. Like they had to have watched at least some of it, if not all of it.
Will we see Inquisitor lightsaber helicopters? That's my other question I have. Have you seen that before? where they
yes,
they hover?
Yeah. That would be, you know what? It would be cool to see it like as a really big jump, not like just flying around like little helicopters, but like extending their jump. That would be fine.
Oh man, that trailer made me so happy. Like I haven't seen a trailer like that made me like so. Yeah, it's weird because it's like it's such a weird thing to me. It's like prequels. It's like it is what it is. Like I loved moments of the prequels, obviously, but like Ewan McGregor was such the biggest point of that trilogy that made me love that show. But then obviously Clone Wars makes me love the characters more, to see more what happens after Episode 3. Yep. With Ewan McGregor, knowing about Ahsoka now that she's canon, like, oh, it's just so cool to see that filled in.
True. Yeah. Like, it's very interesting.
Will Ahsoka show up and have like a reunion with Obi Wan, which she hasn't had that?
Possible. Yeah, that's very possible.
But I'm asking for too much, maybe.
Well, it doesn't need to be huge. A meeting with Ahsoka, but it could be, something. I don't know.
Maybe. We'll see. All right. Well, I will go on and on. I will go on and on, but I think we're good. I think we're good.
No, yeah. I'm very much looking forward to all of these things about this show. I think it's going to be amazing. We're going to enjoy it. It's going to be a lot of what we've always wanted to know and always wanted to see.
It's just hopefully it's just not like 4 episodes of Obi Wan and then 2 episodes of The Mandalorian.
I don't think they'll do that this time. I think they'll do that. It was crazy how it's just like, now the book of Boba Fett will be right back. You're like, well, right after these 2 episodes, we just got to fill in some other holes over here real quick. I wonder if that'll have any bearing on this show as well. I know it's not. I don't know if it's not like really, but maybe a young Boba.
Again, I feel like it's just not. There's not enough time for that. I feel like there's a lot you could dig into. Like his quotes in the beginning of that trailer, like the fight is over and we lost, like that.
Yep.
That's heavy. I mean, if you think about it, if you think of all the things that Obi-Wan went through, it's like, oh man, that's tough. But yeah, no, I'm excited. So, anyways, that's cool. The news.
Yep.
According to Playing Favorites.
Well,
nothing else is going on. Nothing else is going on in the world at all. That's all that's happening.
Glory to Ukraine. Nothing else going on. Oh, Justin. Well, this has been pretty fun. I think we should do it again.
Yeah. After your vacation, though, right?
Of course. After the vacation. Well, we'll be back in a couple weeks then. We'll try this again. So until then, signing off, I'm Paul.
I'm Justin. Have a good night.
Goodbye, everyone.